Can you imagine the absolute ruler of the oceans, 18 meters long, 60 tons, with jaws as big as a bus, swimming in our seas today? Megalodon, history's largest shark. If it were alive in our modern times, how would our oceans and maritime life be shaped? 3.6 million years ago, at the end of the Pliocene period. With changes in sea levels and declining food sources, this giant hunter of the oceans vanished into the depths of history. But today, guided by marine sciences and our imagination, we're bringing Megalodon back to our modern oceans and discovering how it would live. If today's Megalodons were alive, they would probably prefer warm seas worldwide. The Mediterranean, Caribbean, Red Sea, tropical regions of the Indian Ocean, and warm waters of the Pacific would be ideal habitats for these giant hunters. Modern megalodons could benefit from increasing sea temperatures due to global warming, unlike their ancestors. These massive sharks would probably hunt in continental shelf regions at depths of 50 to 200 meters. This depth is the ideal hunting area where both large prey animals are abundant and sufficient oxygen levels exist. Modern megalodons could develop the ability to dive into deeper waters than their ancestors, hunting even in the ocean's middle layers. Expanding tropical water masses with global warming would dramatically increase megalodons' habitats. The North Sea, Baltic Sea, and even parts of the North Atlantic, which are cold today, could transform into suitable habitats for megalodons in the future. In modern marine ecosystems, Megalodon would definitely be at the very top of the food chain. Today's largest marine predators, great white sharks, tiger sharks, even killer whales, would be small compared to this 60-ton giant. According to scientists' calculations, a megalodon would need to consume approximately 1 to 2 tons of meat daily. This creates a major challenge in the modern ocean. Today's large marine mammals, gray whales, humpback whales, seal colonies, would become primary food sources for megalodons. The biggest change would occur in large whale populations. The presence of megalodons would dramatically reduce whale numbers, especially putting slow-moving large baleen species at risk of extinction. This would lead to explosions in krill and plankton populations, fundamentally changing the ocean's nutritional cycle. Tuna, sharks, and large dolphin species would become megalodons' secondary targets. This situation would force commercial fishing to be completely reshaped. Modern navigation would take on a completely different dimension with the presence of megalodons. An 18-meter shark approaching ships would create very serious risks for maritime safety. Small fishing boats, sailing yachts, and even medium-sized cruise ships would be defenseless against megalodon attacks. These massive sharks' jaw power could easily pierce through a boat's hull. Their 25-centimeter-long teeth could cause damage even to steel ship hulls. The greatest risk would be for swimmers and divers. Swimming in waters where megalodons exist would create mortal danger. Most beaches couldn't be considered safe without megalodon detection systems. However, megalodons might not always be aggressive. These giant creatures probably wouldn't consider humans as natural prey, since we're too small compared to their energy requirements. Nevertheless, even accidental encounters could have lethal consequences. The modern maritime industry would have to fundamentally change with the presence of megalodons. Ships would be redesigned to be resistant to megalodon attacks. Hulls made of titanium or composite materials, anti-shark electrical field protection systems would become standard. Megalodon detection technology would create a billion-dollar new industry. Sonar systems, sound-sensitive warning devices, and even AI-supported megalodon behavior prediction systems would be developed. Every ship would have to possess advanced radar and sonar technologies capable of detecting megalodons from distance. Submarine technology would also experience revolutionary developments. Ultra-strong submarines capable of withstanding megalodon attacks would be used for both military and civilian purposes. These submarines would be specially designed to interact with megalodons from a safe distance. The most interesting development would be anti-megalodon weapon systems. High-frequency sound waves, powerful electrical shocks, and even special harpoons would be developed, enabling ships to defend themselves. The presence of megalodons would create a trillion-dollar new sector in the marine tourism industry. Megalodon safaris would become the world's most expensive and risky tourism activity. Specially designed ultra-safe cage diving systems would be developed. These cages would be made of titanium to withstand a 60-ton megalodon's attack, allowing tourists to observe these giant beasts from a safe distance. Megalodon observation cruises would offer services at prices far exceeding the most luxurious sea voyages. These ships would be equipped with special bait systems to attract megalodons, glass bottoms for observation, and fast escape boat systems for emergencies. Extreme megalodon diving experiences would be offered for the bravest tourists. With special safety equipment, experienced diving guides, and emergency medical teams, adrenaline enthusiasts could have limited interaction with these sea giants. For the film and documentary industry, living megalodons would offer unique content opportunities. Underwater cameramen would become the most dangerous but most prestigious profession, with megalodon shoots among the film industry's most expensive productions. For modern marine sciences, living megalodons would offer revolutionary opportunities in shark biology and marine ecology. Data obtained about these giants' behavior patterns, hunting strategies, and social interactions could rewrite shark evolution theories. Megalodon's thermoregulation systems would help us understand how such a large, cold-blooded creature maintains body temperature. This information could break new ground in energy efficiency technology development. These giants' navigation and prey-finding abilities would guide marine technology development. Megalodon's electrical field detection systems could be used to improve modern sonar and radar technologies. Most importantly, megalodon's survival strategies in modern oceans would help us understand climate change's effects on marine life. These giants' adaptation to food sources could provide important clues about other marine species' futures. For genetic research, living megalodons would fill missing links in shark evolution. Comparative DNA analyses with modern sharks would reveal details of 20 million years of evolutionary process. The presence of megalodons in the modern world would create massive changes in the global maritime economy. Megalodon security industry would become a market worth hundreds of billions of dollars. Maritime insurance companies would develop completely new policy types. Megalodon attack insurance would become a basic necessity, with sea routes classified according to megalodon risk levels. The fishing industry would fundamentally change. Traditional fishing techniques would become very risky in megalodon presence, with even large industrial fishing vessels having to increase security measures. The most profitable industry would be megalodon products. Megalodon teeth, skin, and even oil would become luxury products selling for millions of dollars. Of course, this would be done under strict control and sustainably. The marine oil and gas industry would also be greatly affected by megalodon's presence. Offshore platforms would be equipped with special protection systems against megalodon attacks, dramatically increasing costs. Global warming could create unexpected advantages for megalodons. Increasing sea temperatures would expand these giant sharks' habitats, enabling them to spread toward the poles. Glacier melting and sea level rise would open new hunting areas for megalodons. As coastlines change, these giants would gain access to shallow waters they couldn't reach before. Climate change-induced changes in ocean currents would affect megalodons' migration routes. This could lead to megalodons appearing in unexpected regions, creating new risks for maritime safety. Ocean acidification would affect megalodons' food chain. Decreases in small marine organisms would reduce large fish populations, directing megalodons toward alternative food sources. Military use of megalodons could create revolutionary changes in naval warfare strategies. Megalodons trained under controlled conditions could be used as natural, living torpedoes against enemy submarines. Guardian megalodon programs would be developed for naval-based security. These massive sharks could be trained as natural guards protecting important marine facilities. However, military use of megalodons would lead to major ethical debates. International maritime law would include new articles prohibiting the use of these giants as weapons. Submarine detection technologies would be inspired by megalodons. These giants' electroreception abilities would be used in developing new generation submarine hunter technologies. The commercial fishing industry would have to be completely reshaped with megalodons' presence. Large fishing fleets would develop brand new security protocols to protect against megalodon attacks. For fish farms, megalodons would create both threats and opportunities. Open-sea fish farms would have to use ultra-strong cage systems to protect from megalodon attacks. Deep-sea fishing would become nearly impossible. Depths of 50 to 200 meters, which are megalodons' hunting areas, would become very risky zones for commercial fishing. The most interesting development would be the megalodon fishing concept. Controlled hunting of these massive creatures would become the world's most risky but most profitable fishing activity. A single megalodon could be worth millions of dollars. Beaches and coastal areas worldwide would fundamentally change with megalodon's presence. Beach security systems would be equipped with advanced technologies capable of detecting these giant sharks. Megalodon warning systems would become basic security equipment for every coastal town. These systems could detect approaching megalodons from kilometers away and issue emergency evacuation warnings. Beach tourism would be completely transformed. Only beaches with very advanced security systems could accept visitors, with most wild beaches declared completely prohibited zones. Marine rescue techniques would also be redeveloped considering megalodon presence. Fast response boats, helicopter rescue, and even rescue techniques that could be performed without entering water would be developed. Megalodon's anatomical features would create fascinating sources of inspiration for modern technology development. These giants' body dynamics would lead to revolutionary developments in submarine design. Megalodon's hydrodynamic body structure would offer new approaches in ship design. These giants' methods of achieving maximum speed with minimum energy expenditure would increase modern marine vehicles' efficiency. Jaw mechanism and bite force would be used in developing industrial cutting and drilling machines. The megalodon jaw principle would help create revolutionary machines in construction and mining industries. Megalodon's electrical field detection abilities would guide new generation sensor technology development. This feature could be used in submarine navigation systems and even medical imaging technologies. Megalodon's presence in the modern world would fundamentally change our approach to marine protection. These giant predators would demonstrate ocean ecosystem fragility in the most dramatic way. Ocean pollution would now threaten not only small marine creatures, but also megalodons. Plastic pollution harming these giants would provide unprecedented public support for environmental protection movements. Megalodon protection foundations would collect billions of dollars in donations, conducting work ranging from ocean cleanup projects to marine protected areas. Megalodon's presence would accelerate sustainable fishing policy development. Protecting these giants' food sources would mean protecting the entire marine ecosystem. If megalodons could live in our modern world, our oceans would be completely different places from what we know today. The presence of these 18-meter giants would not only change marine ecosystems, but would fundamentally transform all of human civilization's relationship with the seas. From technology to tourism, from science to security, from economy to environmental protection, every field would be reshaped around these oceanic giants' adaptation to the modern world. As humanity, we would learn to see ourselves not as masters of the seas, but as guests of oceans we share with megalodons. Megalodon's presence would also constantly remind us how vast and mysterious the natural world is. These massive beasts swimming in our oceans would help us redefine humanity's place in nature, enabling us to develop a much more humble and respectful approach. Perhaps most importantly, Megalodon's presence in the modern world would teach us this. Oceans are much larger, much more mysterious, and much more powerful than we imagine. These giant sharks, sharing the same planet with us, would create deep feelings of admiration for marine life's infinite diversity and magnificence. What do you think our oceans would be like if Megalodon lived today? Share your thoughts about the changes this magnificent sea giant would create in our modern lives in the comments. Did you like the video? Don't forget to like it and subscribe to our channel so you don't miss more fascinating content about extinct creatures.